Now paint is dry and this is not completely finished. There will be stuff added to it as we go, but I'm still making that up. Now before I move on, I'm just going to remove the tape. And even though I would normally do this kind of close to the end, I'm going to do the highlighting of my focus verse with my black pen now, and I'm just using a Uniball Signo black gel pen. And the reason I'm doing it now is because I want it to stand out so that I don't forget it's right there and I don't go and do something stupid and cover it over. So now I've got my paper bag, and again I want to use the top because I want that double layer scrunchy bit. So I'm kind of measuring. As you can see, I've got a new bag. I won't tell the story of why I've got another bag. The other one had the crease marks already. I had to have a practice. So I don't want it any longer than this. So I'm just going to fold it a little bit smaller than what I measured. Cool, cool, cool. And probably about to here. See, I'm so exact, aren't I? Just so, looking out the ruler and the compass. No, I don't. Yeah, that looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is cut that out. Sorry, just double checking with myself. Yeah. Cut that out just a little bit beyond the folds. That way I have a little piece to hem, because I'm going to sew this together with my sewing machine. But before I do that, and I will do that off camera because once again, boring, as I like to say, what I'm going to do while it's still easy to access, and full disclosure, this is not my idea. I saw this paper bag idea on an art journal page on Pinterest, and I'm really sorry to the original artist. I forgot to save it, so I sort of had a look at it. It's burnt into my memory. Thought that's really cool. Forgot to save it, so I have absolutely no idea. I can't find it again because I don't know what keywords to punch in to get it to come back. So I have no idea who it was by. It was a beautiful art journal page which had this as the big main focus, and I thought I really want to do something like that. So if the original artist ends up watching this by some really bizarre twist of fate and you go, hey, thanks for the acknowledgement, I'm really sorry, but I had no idea who you are because I lost the pin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a heart shape out of the center, and I'm using these Kaisercraft nesting dies in heart shapes. So while I'm off camera, I will first of all use my Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine to cut the heart out. Of course, you can do it by hand. You could just trace it or draw your heart shape, whatever shape you want. It doesn't not have to be a heart. I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to use my sewing machine to hem up the sides. And I plan on using black thread, and I'm going to sew not only hem up those two sides, but I'm going to go all the way around 3 sides. I'm going to have 3 sides of black stitching. I will show you that in a second when it's done. And here is my completed, almost completed, little paper bag. So as you can see, it's got the heart shape cut into it. Now the plan here is to put my secret journaling inside the bag. I'm just having a thought now, thinking I might have cut the heart a little bit too big, but that's okay. I'm going to put the secret journaling inside the bag so that only some of it will show through the heart. And because I've made the heart so big, I think I will have secret journaling on a card or on a piece of paper that's decorated on the other side, and I'll fold it over so the side without my writing will be what shows through the heart, because I don't want too much of my writing showing through, because it is, after all, secret journaling. Now, before I stick this down, I want to embellish or colour the bag a little bit, because it's a bit boring, just brown like this. So I'm going to bring in some of the colours that I used on the page. So I have my sky blue, and I only need the tiniest bits. And a tiny bit of the lapis. And I'm also going to use some white gesso. There's no reason why I can't use white acrylic, but I kind of like the almost chalky texture that the gesso gives. And as is my way, I am basically going to be doing a bit of finger painting here. Now I'm just rubbing a bit of the gesso around the edges of the page. And I'm also going to rub it around the edge of the heart. And I'm not too worried about the fact that it's going through to the inside of the bag, because that will never be seen anyway. So I've just outlined the heart with the white gesso, and just put some bits here and there. Now, just for quickness, I'll give that a blast to dry it. Oops. I have things falling off the side of the desk. I really, really need to clean my craft space. Might be one of the projects this weekend. Clean your craft space. Good enough. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I better close this. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the paint. I'm not even bothering with brushes. I'm just spreading bits of it here and there, just to give it a bit of colour. As you can see, I've put something underneath it, so I'm not getting accidental paint all over my Bible page. And a tiny bit of that dark blue. And I am happy with that. So the paint on my bag is dry, and I'm thinking, and I just realized I started my sentence off with so, and Lydia is going, cringe. Sorry. Like, you know. Okay, that's a private joke. Now what I'd like to do is do a little bit of stamping on the page and on my bag, and I am quite liking this Kaiser Craft Stargazer collection. I like this. I'm liking this here in the corner. Now, because it is a painted surface with a few layers of paint, I know already I'm going to have problems. And because I know that I am not a great stamper, I know for sure I'm going to have problems. So I'm thinking, I've pulled out my Tim Holtz stamp platform, and I'm thinking, well, the point of this platform is that it's open-ended, so you can use pieces of paper that are bigger than the platform. So I'm thinking, if I was to do this, I could actually, oops, I better swap this over to the clear position. I'm thinking that might be kind of helpful to me. It might give me a better stamp, and that way, if I muck it up the first time, I can lift the lid, apply more ink. But I'm not liking that it's not flat. Let me just grab a book off my bookshelf. And if I was to put a book next to it, that's better. And I've got the same height all the way across. Okay, so here goes nothing. Experimenting with, can we use this stamp platform? Do some Bible journaling. I use stuff off label all over the place. I don't really need the magnets to hold the page because it's not going anywhere, but just to be sure. Okay, I think we'll give that a try. What's the worst that can happen, right? I might just also grabbing a little bit of paper, because normally I don't care about getting ink all over the platform because I go and clean it up, but today, because I'm videoing and I don't want to be holding things up, I'll just put some paper under there because I know that my stamp is going to go over the edge just a little bit. So I'm going to put it like that, or like that. Now I'm going to put it like this. So it's coming in from up there. And I think, yay. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up, and I'm sorry you can't see that because it's way off camera, but I just don't have that. I don't have the iPad up high enough to see the entire desk. You don't want to see the entire desk, it's a bit scary. So I've inked that up, and we'll just pop it down, give it a bit of CPR, and see what happens. See, and that is why I used the platform, because I can now add some more ink. That noise in the background is me stomping the ink. And then we'll give that another go. Whoops. That's what I was worried about because of the texture of the paint and the stencil. The stamp is having a bit of trouble sticking to the entire surface. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Lucky I can keep coming back with this. Well, I don't know if that's actually, if me adding ink constantly is helping, because it's not an inking problem, it's a surface problem. Okay, so here's a good lesson. Stamping over stencil. Stamping over slightly textured stenciling. Good or bad? Sometimes it goes real bad. Oh well, I'm just going to have to live with that because that's the best that I can get. I'll just remove that stamp. Take the page off, put that down to okay, lesson learned. And I will pull the Bible out of the way for now. And take away our makeshift desk. And I just want to add a little bit of stamping to this paper bag. Now this time we will need the magnets. And in this set, there is also this Phases of the Moon, which I kind of like. Does it go with the verse? Well, that's up for interpretation, isn't it? Deep and mysterious things, right? I don't know if I want to use all of them or not. I'm going to have it sort of coming off the page a little bit. I think I like that. So just grab the stamps there. And I'm inking them up off camera. That's the banging you hear. Now I'm really doing it. And point of no return, it's done now. There we go. Do I like that? I don't know, maybe I do. Sort Sort of. So I'll just move that out of the way. So I've cleaned up the stamp platform, got that out of the way. And I'm just going to do a quick, I have this stamp from Sweet and Sassy, and it is called something background. It is called Typewriter Text Background, and it's kind of, if you can see, this broken text, which I quite like. It's great for backgrounds because it's, you know, sort of bits and pieces. So I'm going to, and I'm not even using my stamping block, I am just going to kind of hand roll it very lightly in some places. I don't want it to be really obvious. And I'm going to put a little bit on the paper bag. Kind of in keeping with the whole secret journaling thing. There's writing on my page and it's a secret, you can't read it. Okay. And I will now glue the bag down onto the page. Don't look at the terrible mess I made with the sewing machine. Never look at the back. And I'm just going to pop it down there. I think so far I'm quite happy with this, which is good, I guess. Even though I should have put the little crescent moons facing the other direction. I just realised that after I'd stamped it, I thought, oh no, I wanted to face them away. That would have looked a bit better. But that's okay, not a problem. Right. Off camera, I wrote the first line from my focus verse. I may or may not thicken up that writing, add some white highlights, maybe, not sure. At the moment, I'm leaving it as it is. So I've written the first line here. I'm going to write the rest of it down here kind of differently and smaller. When I was getting help finding my verse for this retreat, I know I told all the girls and guy coming along to have something ready and find something that was talking to you at the time. I actually had to get a bit of help because I knew this sort of, I knew the place I wanted to be, but I did not know the words to use to look up the verse that I needed. If that makes any sense, I don't know. I've got to stop making these videos late at night. I sort of get really stupid late at night. But anyway, as I was getting some help and different verses were being called out to me, I was just like, no, done that one. No, done that one. No, I've done that one 3 times already on the one page. And then Daniel 2:22 came up. Yeah, my helper read out this verse from a slightly different translation. At the same time, I'm pulling my book out, jumped over to, I did the whole, where is it? Jumped over to Daniel 2:22, and the verse was slightly different wording, but it was that first line especially that was worded so differently. And as soon as I read in my version, in my translation, he reveals deep and mysterious things, I was like, yes, that's it. This is my page. So that's why that got the big writing. We probably did not need that explanation, but there you go. Now, a couple of things I'm not particularly happy with on this page so far is, number one, up here, I'm not even so much the funny stencil, the funny stamping. I actually don't mind that. It's the stenciling that's annoying me because it's so hey, look, here are these bright orange lines on top of your page, and they're too stark and too obvious, and I don't like them being so full on. So I'm doing my usual finger painting style and just blobbing some blobs of gesso. And just lightly rubbing it over the page. Not over the whole thing, but just slight bits and pieces here and there. Just to lighten that up a little bit and give it a bit more of a grungy look, which is kind of what we're going for on this page. I don't know why. It's just where I was when I started. And also the other thing that's bothering me is this bag is too perfect. So I'm just going to, well, first of all, I'm going to do the gesso thing on the edge of the bottom layer. And then I'm going to kind of fold it and scrunch it a bit, put some gesso on the inside. Now making sure the whole time that I keep lifting it so that I don't end up gluing it shut when the gesso dries. So there you go. So that's kind of a little bit, I'm a little bit happier with that. And I'm doing it to the top as well. Just rubbing some gesso along the top and just, lucky I did not put the glue all the way to the top, and I'm just scrunching that up a little bit. And because it's not glued down over time, it will get roughed up as well, which is good. That's what I'm going for. That is, I am much happier with that. That was a great sentence, wasn't it? That is, I'm happier with that. All right. Yes, I am happier with that. Letting that dry. Okay, I probably should have mentioned that I used my Dylusions black paint pen to write this line, so it's a little bit thicker than if I had used my Uniball gel pen. I'm just going over some of the parts that got a little bit buried under the gesso because I still want that to be bright and obvious. All right, now a couple of things I'm going to do. Back to the gel pen, I am first of all going to just do some rough scribbling around the heart here. And bring the heart back into focus. And then I am going to just rule some lines across here, and I will then on those lines write the rest of my focus verse. Now that is done, and I will just do a little bit of border scribbling all around the page as I do. It just tends to bring the page together a little bit, I think. And yes, when I say scribbling, I literally mean scribbling. Okay, so for now, I am almost happy. I might come back and do a few other bits, not sure yet. But right now I'm going to focus on the inside of this paper bag by making a little journal page and a little bit of decorating. So what I've done now is I had this really pretty envelope. Somebody gave me a card that was in this lovely blue envelope, and I thought I really like that. So what I've done is I've deconstructed the envelope and cut a piece of it just large enough so that when I fold it in half, it slips into my bag and comes just barely over the top of the opening there. And what I'm going to do is, I've pulled out the platform again, on one side only, and that will be the side that is seen through the window, so the side that will not be journaled. I am going to once again use that script stamp. I'm just planning on which way it's going to go. Pick that up. And using a coffee colored ink, oops, I am going to, uh-oh, that just fell off. Sometimes the stamps don't like sticking to the platform lid, and that can be a problem. Wonderful. And I'll then just do the other side. So I'll pop that on there randomly. Oops, sorry about the earthquake. Perfect. So what I have is this little card that I can journal on one side, but the part that we'll see through the heart will have some script on it, which won't make any sense. And that's how I like it. Now I'll quickly put that aside because one more thing I want to do to this little piece of paper is I want to just ink the edges. So I've just grabbed my Vintage Photo Distress. This is the oxide. I'm not really fussed about whether I'm using the regular or the oxide for this. And I'm just distressing around the outside with it, just to give it a bit of an aged look. And along that crease there. And I might even do it to this side that I'm going to be writing on. To the crease there as well. There we go, and that looks like a nice old piece of paper. Fabulous. Now I wanted a little heart in a particular colour and texture. I had something in my head, and of course I did not have any paper or cardstock in the right texture colour, the theme thing that I wanted. So what I did is I used the smallest of my Kaisercraft hearts and cut a heart out of just plain red card, like so. And I then ran that heart through an interesting section of this embossing folder from Carabelle Studio. I think it's called Grunge Text. I think it's not written on here, and I've had it for a while. It's Grunge something. So I have this heart with a grungy text kind of design embossed into it, which I thought was kind of cool for the whole journaling aspect of this page, or this whole retreat. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my Inka Gold in gold color. Inka Gold does come in a whole lot of different colors. This is just the gold one. And with my finger, and always make sure your fingers are clean when you do this, because if you get stuff into it, then it starts to grow, you know, the bacteria in your fingers grows mold and stuff in the actual tub. It's very special, delicate stuff, this Inka Gold. So just with my finger, I'm just going to lightly rub this on, so it ends up really just going over some of the raised embossed text and not over the entire surface. And then close that up. Don't leave these things open for too long because they do dry out. I'll first of all clean it off my fingers, or I'll be like a gold tin man. Gold finger. And then with a paper towel, I am just going to rub it. And what that does is it just polishes it up. So you end up with a lovely, lovely shine. So there we go. Hope you can see that. And then, this is the project of and then, grabbing my journaling card. Now, making sure that I only do this to the one layer and not staple the thing together. Over the top, kind of here, of the side that will be facing up, I am going to use my little tiny attacher Tim Holtz stapler and just staple it down. Yep, that's nice and strong. And pop that in. So that kind of acts as a... didn't quite work because of the grunginess thing that I created there. But it acts as a bit of a handle to pull out your journal card, as well as making... well, as well as embellishing your page a little bit. There. Now, I think I'm done. Does it need some more? Maybe, perhaps. I might end up coming back and putting a few little bits, or I might leave it like this. I'm not sure at this point. So for now, I'm walking away from it, going, yes, I'm happy. Obviously, I need to get some journaling done, but this is secret journaling, so nobody will ever see it. And I actually just had a thought. I'm just going to grab a washi tape, and I don't like this staple being exposed like that. So I'm going to grab my Gorgeous Girl washi, and I'm just going to cut out one of the girls. Not this one because it's been ripped. And stick her here over the tape, just so I don't have the exposed, over the staple, sorry. Stick her over the staple so I don't have the exposed staple bits there. Cool. Okay, now I am kind of happy. Okay, just a quick little something else, because I can't leave things alone, and also because I kind of walked away from it, had a bit of a think, so to speak, had a bit of quiet time, and sort of came back and thought I needed to add something else to this page to tie it into the whole reason why not only I journaled this page, but the whole reason why I ran this retreat as a second secret journaling themed retreat. And there's a whole story there, and I might go all TMI in the actual retreat event, but I'm not about to do it here. So I thought I would just create a little embellishment cluster here in the corner to just say something about my whole secret journaling thing. And to most people, it will look like just some pretty things that I'm putting on the page, but everything, well, is often the case, but especially today, everything that I am doing on this page actually has a purpose and has a meaning, and you may not know what that meaning is, but I do, and that's all good. It's kind of, my secret journaling is not just in the writing. Sometimes it's in the embellishments I use, or the stickers, or the stamps. Sometimes it's even just in the painting. So, yay. So this cross sticker is actually from my Forward with Faith by Echo Park collection. There's a whole lot of papers and a sticker sheet with some awesome stickers on it. And then I have this little envelope that is sealed with a heart, and I'm sorry, but I cannot tell you where I got that from because I don't remember. I've had it in my stash for ages, and I put it aside last week thinking, oh yes, this is going to be perfect for this retreat. And I really hope that April is watching, because these two little chipboard pieces I am using are from the Stamperia pack that I showed a few weeks ago, and ouch, and April had to run out and immediately purchase for herself because she loved it so much. And oh goodness, I've put them all into a Ziploc bag, so I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. Oh, Mi Primera something. It has a Spanish name. Mi Primera something. Mi Primera Illusion, my first illusion. It's a childhood / First Holy Communion collection, and there's a girl one and a boy one, and I had to have the girl one because there are certain chipboard pieces in it that I had to have. So I bought this. Well, no, I did not buy. I had a few of them come in for the shop, and I put one aside for myself, simply for maybe half a dozen chipboard pieces that I wanted. And I never thought I would use the bird. Actually, the bird was not one of the ones I really wanted, but as I'm putting this cluster together, I thought, oh yes, I need a bird, and I'm not going to tell you why, but the bird actually means something huge. Okay, not 100% happy, and I'm thinking I wish I'd put a little bit of lace or something underneath that, but what's done is done. And oh, I have these 3 stickers. See, I feel like I might be going too far with this one, but there's so many things going on the page and in my head, and I'm trying to get a lot of them down on the page. And I came across this sticker sheet that I have had forever and ever and ever, and I have been waiting for the opportunity to use these 3 stickers. Read this, keep this, know this. And I'm really tempted to use them on this page, but I'm just not sure. So if you want to know the ending to this story, because I'm actually going to stop now because this has gone on long enough, I'm going to stop. I'm going to put these stickers away, and I'm going to think about whether or not I actually want to use these, and whether they have a place on this page, and whether they actually will suit the theme of the page. And I might also add, this needs something. I'm not quite happy with this. I'm not sure yet what I'm doing. So if you want to see the end of this story, all my social media links will be down below. So come on over, say hello, and at some point over the next few days when this page is finished, I will post it. And if you're one of the wonderful girls and guy who are joining in our retreat, then you will see the page before anyone else. Yay! So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you will give some of these techniques a go. The paper bag was really fun to do, and I'm really happy with it. So if you are joining us for the retreat, run through my Facebook group, God's Refrigerator, and you're creating a page sort of like this or using some of the techniques, please share. We'd love to see. And if you're not in the group and not coming to the retreat, but you just happen to be checking out this video, come on over. Again, my links are down below. Pop over to any of my places on the internet, and if you've created a page like this, I'd love to see. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. I'll catch you later. Bye.